Hey folks, today we're going to be talking about how to break the cycle of pessimism, okay? So pessimism is essentially just people being negative. We all know those people, we all can be those people, and this is not often who we want to be, but we get stuck in cycles of unhappiness and we become hypercritical. So if this is you, then this video is going to be great for you. So another way of looking at how to break the cycle of pessimism is how can we stop blocking our joy? Okay, because pessimism is the number one reason why we block joy from our lives. And I want to give you guys a few examples, and I'll give you the example of how I came up with this video idea. So I was leaving my house the other morning and I was playing this tape in my mind, and I didn't even realize I was playing it for about probably 10 minutes. And then all of a sudden I got out to my car and I sat in my car and I had a moment of clarity. And I was like, I was literally just creating this conflict in my mind that I had with my potential future partner. This person doesn't even exist yet. And what I would do if I caught them doing this or whatever. And I was playing this tape forever. And I'm like, I had a light bulb moment. And I'm like, why on earth am I creating the scenario that I don't want? Why don't I start creating the scenario that I do want? So that's how this video idea came up, and I'm really excited to share this with you guys because I had some really cool insights around it, and I've got a new strategy that I'm employing within myself, and I felt inspired to share it with you guys. So, for people, I thought I saw this funny meme one time about how we have fights in the shower, and we always end up winning those fights, right? So we always role play conflict in our mind, and we're always the winner in these arguments. And this is our ego. This is the bantering of our ego that takes place to prove our beliefs correct. And when our ego is very, very active and we really feel the need to prove our beliefs, it means there's something in us that's feeling defensive, that we have to protect ourselves against something. So whether we're feeling attacked or whether we're feeling our beliefs are shaky or wobbly and we need to really reinforce them, that's when the tape starts to play and we start to create these inner conflicts inside of us where we role play conflict with other people, real or imaginary, and we end up getting to feel right. Okay, so it's a really maladaptive way to reinforce or to make us feel empowered when really we need to be using joy, not fear, as a way to feel empowered. Okay, so that's what we're going to be doing today. So first off, I want to talk a little bit about the pain identity. So this is basically this mechanism inside of us that we've used to reinforce our pain. Eckhart Tolle calls it the pain body. I like to refer to it as the pain identity because we build up this identity around it, this ego structure, and it plays itself out through thoughts. And then the work that Eckhart Tolle does, I've kind of blended that with the sense that we have this pain body inside of ourselves where we have stored emotion. I call it the emotional onion. And these are kind of what we develop this pain body or pain identity from. And this is the energy, the unprocessed pain and hurt and feeling like a victim and helplessness and powerlessness. All of that is where we're having this ego structure wanting to play itself out to try and insert itself for power. Okay, so it's just good to know where it's coming from, and if we want to heal it, we need to know what it is and we need to know what we're working with. So the pain identity, what this does is it basically keeps us stuck in the victim mentality. And a lot of us can get things from the victim mentality where we get people to feel sorry for us, or we feel sorry for ourselves, and then we use that as an identity to relate to other people, to form connection and bonds. There's lots of different things. But one of the things that I noticed for myself is that it helps me reinforce my smallness. It allows me to engineer my smallness, where I realized this yesterday. I was watching Brene Brown's Netflix special for the second time, and I got completely new things from it the second time, which was great. And there's this term that she uses, and she's actually trademarked it, called foreboding joy. And I can so relate to this because foreboding joy is all about, she coins it the rehearsal for tragedy. Basically, she uses the example where you're seeing your children sleeping in bed, and you're just feeling there's so much joy that you've created this beautiful human being, and then our minds immediately want to go to tragedy, to what if I lost this, to don't get too happy, don't get too excited because what if I lost this? And this shows up a lot for me in intimate relationships, or the idea of having an intimate relationship, because as soon as I start to fantasize or think about having this perfect partner that makes me happy and I make him happy, I immediately start to forebode my joy. I sabotage myself, and I start to create conflict in my mind to preserve myself. I think I'm preserving myself, but I'm creating more fear and more unhappiness, and not allowing myself to experience the joy. So here's what I did, okay? I had this experience come up. It went on for about 10 minutes, and I created all this anxiety inside of me that was not even real, because I don't even have a partner who did X, Y, and Z to me. So the first thing is I had to catch myself mid-criticism. Okay, as soon as I'm starting to criticize or create drama in my mind, you need to catch it. And as soon as you become aware of it, that's most of the work, just being aware. So it's always good to kind of reflect on the tapes that you're playing in your mind, and knowing when to be like, okay, I've caught it. Now you need to cross-examine, and you need to gather evidence. Okay, so is this real? So sometimes for me it was absolutely fantasy. It wasn't real at all. But sometimes when we have tapes playing, they're because we just had a conflict with a partner, and we're playing out the tape and we're making them out to be this big bad monster when they really were this. Right? So we've exaggerated the truth. We've taken it out of evidence and put it into favoring our outcome, or so that we can feel right. Right? So it depends on where you're at, but I would say cross-examine, gather the evidence, and make sure that you're not exaggerating, that you're not emphasizing certain things like that, and bring yourself back to reality, okay? That's really important. And then the reframing, okay, this is the most important part too, because we want to make sure that we're reframing the experience that we're creating in our mind to be in favor of us, to be in favor of joy, to be in favor of possibility. So this is what I was talking about in my last video, that I talked about working through unhelpful beliefs, right? Our self-limiting beliefs, is that if we want to feel more joy, we need to play with our what ifs. Right? This is a perfect opportunity to play with your what ifs. So my thing was that I was creating what if scenarios around being hurt and being abandoned. And it's really important, if we want to get out of this cycle of pessimism, that we need to, when we're being hypercritical, we're being pessimistic of something in our thoughts, we need to create a new what if, right? So what if, and then fill it up with possibility, fill it up with opportunity, and fill it up with positivity instead of pessimism, right? And this is a habit that we have to reform, because oftentimes when we have a very hypercritical mind, and we're very analytical, and we're also been hurt in our past, we're going to recreate these experiences around being hurt and being the victim. So it's going to be very important for us to play around with our what ifs and create new possibilities, okay? The last thing I want to finish off with is just letting you guys know that one of the most beautiful mantras for cultivating authenticity is to welcome everything, okay? Our authenticity is not something that we get to. It's not a destination we arrive to. It's not static, okay? It's very fluid and it's very dynamic. And in every moment, we're being given an opportunity to make a very delicate choice of whether or not we want to honor our truth or not, right? So it's very important. Welcoming everything is about whatever arises, allow it to be there. Even if it feels uncomfortable, allow it to be there. So when we have these experiences come up around when we're playing the tapes, just acknowledge them and acknowledge that they're there, that they're happening, and then create the desire to want to shift them, right? To want to change them. But when they arise, we don't want to push them away right away. We want to welcome them in. We want to analyze them, gather the evidence around them, and then recreate the experience of how you want it to actually play out. Have a good day, guys.